The alignment that the system has brought about through the Focus 160, I think that's behind the whole success of certainly of our school. In my years in the diocese, we've never had such alignment, and the professional learning that came with the package was second to none. I think it was fantastic, not just for me but for many members of my staff. Michael Fullen spoke last week about alignment, but he went further and referred to shared coherence.
And it's the work of every teacher in every school. When I sat in professional learning in literacy and numeracy at a system level, it was very much first for me as a teacher, because initially fundamentally I'm a teacher, and then I took on the principal learning from that. And I think that it's very, very important that we remember that we are first and foremost teachers.
I had a conversation as late as this morning with one of my infant staff, and we're sitting there discussing running record analysis, like some individual students, and it wasn't a planned meeting at all. Talking about self-corrections, we're looking at the MSVs and what strategies these children are using, and etc. etc. And I think we barely touched on what level the child is at, but we talked about everything else in regards to this child as a learner.
People are able to name what vulnerability looks like. They're able to put data to it, whereas before there wasn't that precision around identifying who was vulnerable. It was a hunch, a teacher, a sense that a teacher had. Now the data speaks volumes in terms of who are those vulnerable children and where do they need to go to next. So I think we're becoming more precise in terms of the way that we respond to them as well.
I think that's where case management's good, because a lot of the teachers don't know where to go next. By having that general discussion and all the stakeholders involved, they can share ideas and get strategies that they may not have thought about themselves.
I find that to see teachers lead to be on time with their data and their evidence and their iPads and student samples, number one, initially to say, what do? I'm stuck. And then in the second instance, I tried that high yield strategy and it was working so well. We've done it now. I've told my team, and we're doing it across the cohort. And here I'll show you how it's working. I think that's powerful learning for all of them.
It doesn't seem that long ago that we were talking about deprivatisation and where relationships of trust, all new terms. And yet when you look now at our communities, the communities that we're talking about are complete communities of trust. They're trusting not only in the fact that someone can come and shoulder to shoulder with them, but they're also trusting themselves that they've got something to offer, something to provide in planning. And then the other thing too is, and I think this is one of the things that you touched on, Liz, that these relational trusts and these communities of trust are being generated by obvious success in practice, success in student growth, and that is one of the great motivators for anybody.
Now, one of the things that I know that we've been doing, we're very big on reassessing and realigning, and that's an important aspect for us to say, okay, well, it's not that what we set up and organised in term 1 we're still rolling with in term 4. Every term we review, we reevaluate what is the work of the leaders, what is the work of the TE, what is the work of case management, what are we doing with that data wall? We've changed the way that we use the data.
It's just so important to be able to talk the language, to know the children as much as, not as well as the teachers, but certainly to know them and to know their learning needs.
And that's where you were talking about before, John, deprivatising the practice now, the case management, the data walls, the instructional walks, that's what it's doing. Those children that may have previously slipped through the cracks, the chance of that happening now is so minimal, because we are so transparent in the work that we're doing and these high yield strategies that we have in place. How much better we're getting at looking at the data and understanding the data and identifying these children.
The individual needs of children around their literacy, around their numeracy, tapping into what do they need is up to the staff and the leadership of that school to work out, well, how do you work with those children?
It's about having that growth mindset within the culture, that they can't do it because they come from a non-English speaking background, they can't do it because they're from a certain socio-economic area within the diocese. It's actually, and what I think what's happening now is when people see the data and they see the way that the children are achieving, that enhances that growth mindset as opposed to that fixed mindset.
And we've also said too that they have this incredible capacity to care and love the kids, and to have that expectation, that high expectation. And I think that that's, again, one of our great drivers, is to have the high
Comes
expectation,
back to it all the
maintain it.
time. When we do this together as leaders, I think it's so powerful. Our last network meeting was great
so
because
much,
we
so
sat
much.
most of the day with each other, sharing ideas, taking photos of things, talking about the differences in the way we've done action plans and whatever it is. I think.
Well,
For a
we're putting our
purpose.
hands up saying
Yes.
I'm a stuck principal. I'm like when we go to the
So it comes
network
back to
meetings and
yours.
we've been saying, you know, like I've been saying, oh, Liz, I'm stuck with this, and you'll go, oh well, here you go, have a look at this, or you can say, oh, I hadn't even thought of that, and I say, oh, here, and you know, we were all taking photos of our plans, and I feel that we're growing as well, and we've now got the courage, and I think it's only in the last year that we've had the courage to say, you know what, it's okay, we're asking our teachers to do something, but as principals we don't know all the answers either, and it's okay to say we're stuck.
My experience is the conversations aren't any longer about, oh, who's the painter that you used or who's the builder, or
I know.
it's about the learning.
Yeah.